Hi there, and welcome to Wasted, a podcast where we listen to the people who know weight loss best. Yes, I'm talking about you, my plus-size baddies. Hi, I'm Corey. I've lost over 450 pounds, and in the past 5 years, completely transformed my life. You may know me from TLC's Too Large. I think it's now called Dangerously Obese. Not a fan of the name. Now, I assume that most people listening to this podcast have struggled with their weight in some regard. So let me ask you this. How many times have you tried to lose weight? Not how many times have you lost it, not how many times have you tried and failed. How many times have you tried to lose weight? And you can be honest, I can't hear you. You know, there's this language that gets thrown around where if you're plus size, you're called lazy, unmotivated, fill in the blank. But a second ago, I just asked you how many times you've tried to lose weight. Whether it was success, failure, just how many times did you get up and try again? And if it's anything like me, you're probably still count. It's going to take the podcast. I'll see you at the end. That is not laziness. Whatever other people are going to say, fuck them. That is resilience in its purest form. The ability to get back up and try again, to take whatever life throws at you and keep rolling with the punches. Whenever I see a plus size baddie, I know that that person is resilient as can be. Why? Because every attempt, every effort, every thought, every need, desire that you've ever had to get back up and try again isn't proof that you're lazy. People look at your failures and forget that you had the fight to get back up and try. And that's what this podcast is about. You know, I'll give you one really great example. A long time ago, I went to this Weight Watchers meeting in Hiram, Georgia. I get there, I was giving it another go. And we're sitting there, everyone's going through their kind of stories. It's show and tell time. And it gets to this one lady. And she stands up. And she talks about how she's lost 100 pounds 3 different times. And in my mind, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That's insane. To lose weight, get to your goal, go back, get to your goal again, only to go back? Insane. But guess what? She did it. I'm going to take a quick detour with you real quick because she gave me some great advice I want to share with you. So bear with me because we're going to take a detour, right? I'm at a Weight Watchers meeting. For those who aren't familiar with Weight Watchers, basically what happens is you have a certain amount of daily points and you have a certain amount of weekly points. Well, for me, I was max capacity. I was top of the point system. Couldn't get more if I tried. So I had about 78 points a day, which is a lot. Now, going back to the conversation, she tells this wonderful story about how she's lost 100 pounds 3 different times. And then she leaves me with a nugget of wisdom that I've taken forward to this day. She goes, just so y'all know, you can eat half a container of fat-free Cool Whip, and it's only 3 points. And if you freeze it, it was exactly like ice cream. Now hear me out. I just told you I had 72 points, 78 if you include the weeklies, about a day. And this woman just told me that I can eat half a tub of Cool Whip for 3 points. You know how much Cool Whip I ate? And guess what? I still lost weight. You know, I've been at this losing weight thing since I think kindergarten. And never in my life have I been hit with that type of advice. I got hit with eat a salad, go outside and see the sun. But this woman just transformed the way I see weight loss in an instant. What do you mean I can do that? You can't do that. Guess what? I use that to my advantage. And I ate so much Cool Whip, and guess what? I lost so much weight. But for me, I had a sweet tooth like no other. And so having that resource, that little nugget of wisdom, meant that when I did get hungry and I did want sweets, I had something I could reach for that wasn't going to derail my weight loss mission, that wasn't going to send me spiraling in the morning and trying to overcorrect and punish myself. No, I had an option I could go to and I could binge. And if I wanted the whole thing of Cool Whip, guess what? That was only 6 or 7 points. What? For an entire container of fat-free Cool Whip. That woman changed my life. All I ever got told was, eat a salad, go for a walk. Great. All better. My bad. I didn't get that presentation. I must have been sleeping. But then she walks in and she's like, you can eat half a container of Cool Whip for 3 points? And I got 78 points in a day. You knew I was in the back of that Weight Watchers meeting, verifying what she had just told me, but also trying to calculate how many containers are Cool Whip equals 72, 78 points. But again, this woman lost 100 pounds 3 different times, and she's walking in with the cheat codes. She knows how to lose weight like nobody's business. Why? Because she's been doing this her whole life. She has mastered the art of weight loss. What she had not mastered yet was how to keep it off and find long-term success. That is a different skill set than losing weight. They both play hand in hand, but she had cracked the code. Just like most plus-size people, we know how to lose weight. Even if we're still learning new tricks, we have a wealth of information that we've acquired from every time we got back up to try. So see why I stopped taking weight loss advice from people who've never had to lose weight, and I started listening to my plus size baddies in the trenches with me? And look, having lost 450 pounds myself and looking at the things that I've done before and what I did now and what's different, I really think it comes down to three things. The first is that I ate more. The second was that I got a new scale finally. And the third is what I call the golden rule of weight loss. And we're going to get to that because everything else ties into it. Now, when it comes to the first thing, that I ate more, what I mean by this, it's called volume eating. Now, I know what you're saying. Corey, what do you mean eat more? This is weight loss. You should be eating less. Thermodynamics, calorie deficit, is that calories in versus calories out. You really just need to live in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. That's the science of thermodynamics. The art of weight loss is learning how to get the most bang for your buck. What do I mean by that? Volume eating at its core is basically that you're eating high volumes of food that are low in calories. So what does this look like? Well, when it comes to me and weight loss, I love chicken tenders. Oh my goodness gracious, I love a chicken tender. Chicken tendies for life. I was the kid at Red Lobster. While everyone was going crazy on the Cheddar Bay biscuits, I was like, just get me some chicken tenders. I was that kid. I love chicken tenders. So now here I'm an adult and I'm trying to lose weight and I'm using volume eating as a tool. So what this looks like is that instead of going to McDonald's, wherever, and getting a double cheeseburger, that's going to be 500-600 calories. Instead, I can go get almost an entire pound of chicken. That's going to be about 600 calories. I cut that into strips. I now have a pound of chicken tenders that I can eat instead of that cheeseburger. And guess what? I can still lose weight eating that entire pound of chicken. Not only am I getting protein, which is going to mean I'm fuller longer, but there's less fat. So many of the calories you're getting from that cheeseburger are just fat alone. So volume eating is really the cheat code. Now, if you've had weight loss surgery, take GLPs, have diabetes, and it prevents you from being able to volume eat, that's fine. What you can do is that take the logic behind it, and when moments come and you want to binge, don't pick the high calorie option. Find a low calorie, high volume alternative so you can stuff your face and lose weight and not wake up the next morning, want to overcorrect, want to punish yourself for doing bad, fall off the wagon and not want to get on again. My entire life, I thought that you had to starve yourself. And then someone told me about volume eating and I was like, shut your mouth. And how did I not know this before? And it's so crazy because so many bodybuilders use volume eating regularly, but it's been gate-kept from plus-size people. They want us starving. Not on my watch. And this same logic of getting the most bang for your buck with calories, it applies to so many areas. When we think of liquids, there's this idea, do not drink your calories. I'm telling you, me to you, do not drink your calories. Switch to sugar-free options. It's going to taste a little different at first, although honestly, I feel like Pepsi Zero, Coke Zero taste exactly the same. But there's going to be an adjustment period either way because it's not going to be the full sugar version. But guess what? Once you know you can drink as much of that as you want, it's kind of a good alternative. I'm not telling you to go drink the Atlantic Ocean and diet soda, but find an alternative that works, that's low calorie, and still scratches the itch that you need to scratch. And look, that's volume eating really in a nutshell. The core essence of it is couponing with calories. So you're trying to find the most bang for your buck. Now, I'm a firm believer that weight loss starts in the kitchen. So if you want to know more about the kitchen, volume eating, and all those things, check out episode 3 of the Wasted podcast, where we really get into the nitty gritty of the kitchen and how to get started. Moving on to number 2. The golden rule is going to be the make or break between you and the finish line. But number 2, get a new scale. If you don't do number 2, you'll never get to number 3. So when I say get a new scale, I mean, find a new way to measure your weight loss. So before my surgery, I had to lose a certain amount of weight. And I didn't have a scale to measure myself. I had no way of knowing if what I was doing was successful. So instead of relying on a scale to tell me if I'm doing right or wrong, all I had to measure me were the actions that I was taking. That's it. I'm not telling you to go in your bathroom and beat up your scale and throw it to the curb and go get a new one. What I mean by get a new scale is put the one that you step on to rest. Don't look at it, at least not like you've been doing. I had to lose a certain amount of weight in order to get the surgery. And not only did I hit that mark, I doubled it. Why? How? How was I able to do that without having a scale to stare at? The scale is a reflection of the actions and the behaviors and the changes that you've made in your life. The changes in what you eat, the changes in what you do, all the changes you make getting towards that healthy lifestyle, that is your scale. So think of the scale like this. The scale is just reporting data. All it's doing is letting you know if the actions and changes you're taking are in alignment. Now, you can be taking actions, you can be making changes, you can be redoing your entire diet. You can be doing all the things that are good, but you see that scale not move, you see that scale not change, and you think, well, I failed, that's it. And that's not the case. As a matter of fact, so much of the success I had when I was losing weight was because I wasn't looking at the scale, because I wasn't letting that be the determining factor of if I had success or not. Now, did I use the scale when I got it to check in and make sure, hey, this number's still moving in the right direction I want to, right? If it's not, make changes. See what you're doing wrong. The scale is a reflection of everything you're doing. It is not the scale in which you need to measure success. The scale in which you need to measure success is how your life is changing. So I'm going to talk cars for a second, and I'm not a car guy. So bear with me here. We're going to get through this. But imagine you're going on a road trip. You're in Atlanta and you're going to California. Atlanta is plus size central and California is Skinnyville. So you're in Atlanta, you hop in your car, you're getting on the highway and you're going. You want to hop in that left lane and go as fast as you can to get there. That's everyone with weight loss. We all want to hop in that left lane and just speed to get where we want to be. Now, at times we've gotten on the highway and tried to go from that far right lane to that far left lane, about taking everyone with us on the way. Don't do that. Weight loss is about gradual changes, slow shifts that are sustainable. Weight loss isn't a short-term effort. It really is a lifestyle change. So imagine you get in that first lane. You're like, okay, I got to get over to the next lane. Well, then you get over to the next lane. And then I want to get over to the next lane. And you keep going. And every time you get in a new lane, you've picked up new habits, you picked up new recipes, new behaviors, new everything. And you're just slowly switching lane to lane. And guess what? Even when you're in the slow lane or you're in the fast lane, you're still getting closer to California, aka Skinnyville. All that matters is that you're headed that direction. So don't try to hop in that left lane. Take slow and gradual changes. So what does this look like in actuality? For starters, weight loss starts in the kitchen. Start looking at recipes. If you don't have food you like to eat, you're not going to find success. So you start with recipes, little things that you find that you can eat, that you enjoy, and that you can sustain. And so you may have a few recipes at first. Start collecting more. Start trying new recipes. To this day, I'm still collecting recipes like nobody's business. I'm trying new things because, as I said before, weight loss starts in the kitchen. And so that's really where a lot of this change is going to take place. Think of it that first lane. And so before you get in that second lane, you need to make sure that you got snacks for the road. Otherwise, you're going to hop off the highway and go back home and try again another day. If you found snacks that you like, wonderful. Get in the next lane. The first thing I would do is start to try to get 3 or 4 recipes that you really like and you really enjoy. From that, you can start building and finding other things, but start there. Find a few good recipes that you can eat, you don't hate to make, they're good, and they satisfy you. And it's something that you'll be able to easily choose over unhealthy food. Don't make something that you don't really like and be like, well, I'm going to eat this instead of the Reese's. I promise you, we're going to eat a few bites and then you and I are going to locate that Reese's together. Don't do that. Instead, really try to find recipes that resonate with you, that work, that are healthy. And I have a ton of these. I'm going to get them to you. Recipes that worked for me. And honestly, if you have any recipes that really transform your weight loss, feel free to comment them down below wherever you watch or listen. That's the first lane. You've learned new recipes and you're ready to go to the next lane. Slowly merge over until you're in that fast lane and it's effortless. But if you go to that left lane and it's really hard, you're most likely going to try to restart. Now, here's the thing. I am the person who will wake up and I'll be like, well, my whole life's changing today. I'll pick up 1,000 new habits and I'll be like, I'm ready to go. And it just doesn't work. I wish it did because God, do I have the motivation to do it, but it's really hard to sustain it. That's why small, subtle changes are the best for long-term weight loss. It took me about 5 years to lose my weight. And I know what you're thinking, Corey, I don't want it to take that long. It wasn't a one-way streak with me. I had my ups, I had my downs, I had my good weeks, I had my bad months. The whole purpose of weight loss is that you have more good days than you do bad days. But as you're slowly switching those lanes to get into that fast lane to where weight loss is effortless, that's your scale. That's your weight loss. That right there is what the scale's going to reflect. The weight loss is happening here with you, with the changes you made. Don't let that scale tell you that your changes weren't worthwhile, that they didn't matter, that they didn't mean anything, that you weren't as successful as you wanted to be. You still made the change. Do you know how hard it is for someone to want to change and like actually put in the effort to do it? Kudos to you. And so basically, you're making sure that you have food that you like to eat, that you enjoy, and that will sustain your weight loss journey, kind of like your starting kit of recipes that you can use. One of the most user-friendly recipes, chicken tenders. You go get chicken breast, cut them into tenders. You can dredge them in egg whites. You can even do Greek yogurt and you dip it in breadcrumbs. If you don't like breadcrumbs or you don't want to use panko, you can also use pork rind. Take that chicken, dip it in the egg, dip it in the breading, put it in your air fryer, bam. And that's good for you to eat. Do you know how many people are losing weight and that's what they eat? There's also channels you can check out like Aussie Fitness, AUSSIE Fitness. I use his recipes all the time. I do kind of dumb them down because I'm a basic bitch. But that's get a new scale. All weight loss is more good days than bad and finding a way forward. And guess what? Even if you're in that lane on the far right and you're just trucking along, you're still getting closer. You're still making your way there. So don't feel bad if you have to stay in that lane a little longer, then start to move over and start to get more advanced. I'm telling you, the first 250, almost 300 pounds I lost was in the kitchen. That's where I put all my focus first. But had I started and gone to the very left side into the speed lane, that's not me. I wouldn't have made it. I would have crashed, burned, and had to restart again. So when I say get a new scale, I mean stop letting the scale be the measure of the changes that you're making. Look at your non-scale victories. For me, when I started, you go to Walmart, you know the distance from that front door to right past that first set of registers. I could barely walk to the end of the registers. That's how out of breath, out of shape I was at that point in my life. But guess what? I can now, and this is me being messy, but one of my favorite things to do was I would go walk Kennesaw Mountain in Georgia. Wonderful mountain. It has a road that you can walk without having to risk life and limb on the trail. So I'd walk up the road and there'd be a few girls or guys who were walking and I just walk right past them. Pep in my step, speed going. I'm ready to work out and they're lollygagging. And the second I pass them, they start to pick up pace. They're trying to keep up with me. It was the biggest rush I had. It was like 320 pounds at this time. They were like, no, he's not getting in front of us. We can't let this happen. Guess what? It happened. So how did I know that I was being successful with my weight loss? Well, I looked at the food I was eating. I made sure, am I eating good food? Am I doing this the right way? Am I eating foods that are low calorie, high volume? Am I eating vegetables, drinking my calories? The biggest thing that I measured my success on is not what I lost. It is what I gained. I mean it. I've lost 450 pounds. People hear that number and they're like, oh my God, that's crazy. No, you know what's crazy? I can walk a mountain and not be out of breath. I can be with my friends who are the fit people that I can go to the gym and outperform everyone there on leg day. What I got back is that I could be present in my life. I felt like my life no longer circled around being fat. If I wanted to go to the restaurant, I didn't have to worry about if I was going to be able to fit in the booth. I just started fitting. I didn't have to worry if they were going to have something in my size or not, because now it's all in my size. I couldn't walk from the entrance of the Walmart to the first set of cash registers. And now I can walk a mountain. I wouldn't be able to go build fairy houses on the creek with my nieces. I wouldn't be able to sit there and actually work out with my brothers. Their workouts involve pain, and that's not really me. But I can work out with them and keep up with them. I mean, I've moved to the Netherlands, and I don't have a vehicle, and I don't worry about one. I can walk anywhere. I'm no longer hindered by my weight. I gained so much more than any number on the scale will tell you that I lost. I can ride a bike. I wanted to go bungee jumping. You get the idea. I could make an entire podcast dedicated to everything I gain, and it would never do it enough justice. Weight loss is not about what you're losing. That number is going to come, but it's not going to come unless you're focused on the good habits and starting in lane 1 and working your way to 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't get me wrong, you move at the pace you want to, but don't feel like you have to hop in that far left lane so you can get to Skinnyville quicker. Sustainable, sustainable, sustainable. You should not be picking up practices that are not sustainable, something that you cannot do on the regular and that wears you out. That's not sustainable. Find sustainable. Do you know what sustainable is for me? Chicken tenders. That's real sustainable for me. But there's 1,000 little things that I've changed over this entire thing. And I would get to one lane and I'd kind of plateau. I'd be like, okay, scale's telling me that I've made changes, but my car stalled. So I make another change and I go a little further. Scale says nothing. I keep going, and eventually the scale's like, oh, it was working. You were doing it. What? Stop. Don't listen to the scale. Check in with the scale, but do not listen to the scale. You know, one funny thing, my younger brother really liked to go hiking, him and his girlfriend, incredible people. Well, I was like, I want to go hiking one day. Please take me hiking. I climb Kennesaw Mountain. Let's do this. So he messages me and he's like, okay, I know most of you aren't familiar with Alatoona Pass. You just walk that flat piece of grass to the end of the road and then back. I looked at my brother on the way back and I was like, I thought we were going hiking. I don't know what type of soft game you thought I was on, but let's walk up a mountain. And so I turned and I was like, let's go up that one. Great, right? I'm like, I got this. I can walk Kennesaw Mountain. This is nothing. My younger brother Jacob's in front of me. Riley's behind me. So I'm now in the sandwich, the middle, the danger zone. And my younger brother, he's picking up speed. Meanwhile, I'm fighting for my life. And I asked him after, I was like, could you hear me breathing? He was like, yeah, but we're walking up this hill. We get to the top. And he's like, huh, I didn't think you'd make it. It's so funny. I have a picture. I'll post it on social media of us after that walk. But guess what? I got to have that time with my brother. I got to have fun. I got to be in competition. And I would have never gotten those opportunities or been able to have those memories had I not lost the weight. So all I'm saying is that when it comes to weight loss, do not focus on what you are losing. Focus on what you are gaining, whether that's a new recipe, new habits, new friends, new mindsets. All of it is going to help you be successful. Just remember, the heart of weight loss is that you have more good days than you have bad days. If you have 100 good days and you had 99 bad days, guess what? That's still progress. It may not be the type of progress that you're used to seeing, but it's still progress. And that brings me to what I call the golden rule of weight loss. And if I'm being honest, the Cool Whip goddess would say the exact same thing. The golden rule of weight loss is that you repair, you do not restart. Changing your scale is probably the most important rule, but this is the one that's going to get you from A to Z. You want to get to Skinnyville, California? You have to stop restarting and you have to start repairing. And I know you heard that and you're like, oh, fuck off, Corey. No, I mean it. So let's walk through a scenario, okay? Think of a time where you've gone to lose weight, messed up, and you're like, I'm going to restart. So let's say you just go and you eat 3 pints of Ben& Jerry's ice cream and you're like, oh, I messed up. So everything I've done is moot and pointless. I'm either going to start tomorrow and punish myself, or I'm just going to quit and restart. That's really how it goes. But weight loss that's sustainable is where you realize that that was just a day. And what is weight loss all about? Having more good days than bad. And so after that bad day, don't wake up and try to punish yourself and be like, well, today you're only going to eat healthy and perfect. Weight loss isn't perfect. Weight loss is messy and it takes time. You're going to have to repair it and work on it. But it's not as hard as it sounds. It really isn't. So what do I mean by repair, do not restart? Let's say last night I went and I binged and I was like, oh, there's 3 pints of Ben and Jerry's in here, and I ate all 3 pints, every single one, devoured them. And the next morning, I'm like, why would you do that? Oh, you're such an idiot. We've put in all this progress. I can't believe you just undid it all. One, that's not how it works. Two, that's going to do nothing for you. All you're doing is beating yourself up. It's going to get you nowhere. So what do? You forgive yourself. And you do not overcompensate. You do not wake up and go, well, today I'm gonna only eat chicken and vegetables, and I'm gonna go for a long walk to undo the mistake I made. Right? That's how we all think. So what you do is you wake up, you forgive yourself. Remember, more good days than bad days. That just gets written off as a bad day. You don't let it derail you. What you do is you're smart. You're saying, okay, last night I binged. I binged on Ben and Jerry's. I had a sweet tooth, and I had nothing in this house for me except that. One, take the Ben and Jerry's out of your house. Two, and I think you know what I'm about to say, go to the store and get some fat-free Cool Whip. Not sponsored by Cool Whip, by the way. Just really love their fat-free version. Go get the Cool Whip or something. If you don't like that, like I said, you're collecting recipes like infinity stones right now. So you don't like the Cool Whip, find something else. We're going to go with the Cool Whip because I love Cool Whip if you cannot tell. So I go to the store and I get Cool Whip. Why? Because I have a sweet tooth and I know that I'm going to want to binge sweet items, especially late at night. And so I have an alternative that if I binge it, I'm good. Do you know how many containers of fat-free Cool Whip you can eat compared to 1 pint of Ben and Jerry's? 3.5 containers of fat-free Cool Whip is equivalent to the amount of calories in 1 pint of Ben and Jerry's. This is when I say volume eating changed the game because you're finding low calorie, high volume foods, but they're serving a purpose in getting you to Skinnyville, California. So you go to the store, you get your Cool Whip, you put it in your freezer, you're good there. The next time you have a craving, you have that and you don't overcorrect. And then you have to forgive yourself, but you also have to learn how to try in the midst of failing because we've gotten so used to just hitting the restart button on weight loss. And I swear on my life, the moment I stopped restarting and I started repairing is the moment that I got into that left lane on the highway and I started cruising. Why? It didn't matter if I hit a speed bump, I could adjust and I could hop back on and keep going. And so at times like that, you may get discouraged. And here's the thing. Sometimes you have to be okay with having more bad days than good. It's just going to happen. On my weight loss journey, I've had months where I've seen no progress, but in those moments, I didn't punish myself. I didn't overcorrect. I used the tools I had to prevent that from happening. And it goes beyond just food. You know, you start working out and going to the gym, you're going to want to come in with this. I'm going to hop in that very left-hand lane. I'm about to gain muscle quicker than anybody else out here. One, that's going to get yourself hurt. But two, start in the slow lane. Start by finding a few exercises that work for you. Keeping with those, maybe finding a few more like recipes, and then moving over until you're in that fast lane. But when you're going to the gym, people are like, I have to go to the gym 5 days a week. Guess what? If you go to the gym 1 day a week, that's more than last week where you didn't go to the gym at all. Now, weight loss starts in the kitchen. The gym is something that you don't have to worry about if you're just starting out right now. The more you can do, the better when it comes to fitness, weight loss, especially keeping that muscle mass as you lose weight. Those are going to help expedite your weight loss, but none of those things will expedite your weight loss more than your diet. But if you're working out and you miss a day, it's the same thing. You're like, oh man, I'm going to go in tomorrow and I'm going to work harder. Or, well, that's it. I'll try again next January. No, you find a way to get back on and to maintain it. Wheels are going to get wobbly. You're going to fall off the bike every now and then. But what matters is that you repair, you do not restart. I can think on numerous occasions where I've lost upwards of 70 pounds or more. And then I have a bad day. I have a bad week. And there were so many times through my weight loss that I ran into the same issues where I would fall off and I'd be like, I'm to punishing, overcorrect. You have to start giving yourself permission to not be perfect when it comes to weight loss. Because I said it before, I'll say it again. Weight loss is not perfect. It is never going to be. Does that mean it's horribly hard and horrendous? No, but it means you got to put in a little bit of elbow grease every now and then. So to recap, the 3 rules I have are 1, eat more. 2, get a new scale. 3, the golden rule of weight loss, repair, do not restart. Do not punish yourself. Do not overcorrect. And it's not perfect. All this advice I'm giving you today, it's just nuggets of wisdom to help you on your path. But the truth of the matter is that you've been doing this a long time, if not your whole life, trying to lose weight. And I know for me that these 3 things were not on my radar when I was 664 pounds. No one told these things to me for a long time, but just like that Cool Whip, and I'm telling you, that was like 2012 and it stuck with me this long. But that Cool Whip situation was just a little nugget of wisdom that brought me so much success. And that's what I want Wasted to be. I want Wasted to be a podcast where plus size people can come talk about their experiences, share their nuggets of wisdom, whether being a guest on the podcast or leaving comments. Whatever it is, let this be a wealth of knowledge to share and find community, and not to have people say, they're fat, they don't know anything about weight loss. Are you kidding me? Here's the disconnect that I have. Whenever someone tells me congratulations on losing weight, there's like a switch in my brain that flips. And I'm like, why are you thanking me? You should be thanking 600 and me. I am the product of yesterday. I'm at the finish line. Today me isn't the one that got me to the finish line. 664-pound me is the one that got the momentum going, hopped in that right lane, found his way into the left lane, and no matter what happened, he found a way to repair and move forward and to have more good days than bad days, to find a scale that measures everything he wants to gain, not everything he wants to lose, and to have the ability and permission to get rid of this idea that you have to starve, that you have to be miserable for weight loss. And I'm going to remind you at the end of every single episode, you are losing weight. You are not losing your personality. So let's have some fucking fun with this process. Am I right? I mean, here's the thing. I've always been fat and I've always been happy. Those 2 things have always coincided together. And I know that that is not the case for everyone, but it very well should be. Because again, you are losing weight, not your personality. This does not have to be this monstrous drive from here to California to get to Skinnyville, where you're just struggling the whole time. You shouldn't be doing things that require too much effort. You should be starting in the slow lane and slowly merging your way over to the fast lane. But guess what? You got on the highway. You decided to get back up. You decided to try again. You are resilient. You are not lazy. You are not unmotivated. You're motivated. You wouldn't be trying if you weren't motivated. What are you talking about? People are insane. Don't listen to them. And here's the thing. If I did it, you can do it. And I mean that with all my soul. I don't say this as someone who's gone through weight loss and looks back at it like, oh, well, I'm just special and I had this figured out. I'm not special. It was a lot of work and I'm really happy with what I was able to accomplish. But in order to accomplish it, I had to change the way I viewed weight loss. And I had to start listening to my plus size baddies. And that is what you are, a baddie. People use the word fatty. I prefer the word baddie because even at 664 pounds, I may not have been able to keep up with you physically. You know, it's crazy. All this weight loss advice that I'm giving you now, most of it I could have given you at 664 pounds. The part that I couldn't have given you at 664 pounds was to repair, not restart. Honestly, that's a bitch to figure out. And that takes time and it's not perfect and it's not going to be perfect. And you have to become okay with it not being perfect. But you're just looking for more good days than bad days. And guess what? You have plenty of fucking good days ahead. Bet you me. So thank you for listening, watching Wasted, wherever you're doing so. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment with any tips and tricks like the Cool Whip of your favorite snack or go-to recipe. And remember, you're losing weight, not your personality. So go out there and have some fucking fun with it. And I'll see you next week when we talk about willpower. Yes, the dreaded term willpower. Don't worry, once you learn a few tricks, willpower becomes easy peasy. As a matter of fact, the reason I'm talking about willpower before I go into the kitchen is because it's really simple. because we've been told our whole lives that you just don't have the willpower. And I think after today, I've exhausted you on the fact that they can just shut the fuck up. I'll see you next week when we talk about willpower and deconstruct what that actually fucking means. Because I've heard it used against me 1,000 times, but no one ever told me how to actually have and use willpower. I was just out here in my head like, trying to get willpower to come out of thin air like a fart. And it's not like that. It's really simple. Thank you for watching. Have fun. Remember to like, share, and tell everyone about this. I do not want to be a gate-kept secret. I want everyone to know and have the ability to lose weight and be successful and be with a community of people that empower plus-size people and don't tear them down. And if anyone tries to tear you down, send them to me because I can probably outlift them and I can definitely outrun them. And I'll do it for both of us. And again, truly, thank you for taking the time to listen to this. It means the world. I put together this podcast with the idea of giving 664-pound me a resource that he could have used a long time ago. So I hope that this podcast helps you. I hope that it starts to get rid of this idea that fat people don't know how to lose weight. Fat people are the experts in weight loss. As a matter of fact, they're not only experts in weight loss, they're experts in resilience. There's nothing you can't do. And anyone who tells you otherwise is an idiot. And if they have questions, comments, or concerns, they're free to leave them here. It helps with the engagement. Thank you. And remember, you're losing weight, not your personality. So get out there and have some fucking fun with it. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what your best weight loss food recipes are or items like the Cool Whip was for me. And thank you for listening and supporting